My friend Vincent and I both love to write comics. We have 5th hour together and conveniently we sit right next to each other in class. That usually never happens when you have assigned seats. One day we decided to create a book of comics, where Vincent would come up with the ideas and I'd draw them. But sometimes we'd take the comic home, and if we had an idea we'd draw it, whether it was me or not. After we were done with the comic, we'd show it to our other friends. A few days ago, Vincent came up to me and said that he'd been reading Creepypasta recently, and asked if I'd heard of them. Obviously I had, because, you know, we wouldn't be right here now if I hadn't. We talked about them until the teacher passed out homework. While we were working on the homework, Vincent said that he had an idea for the comic, but said that he wanted to draw it himself. I said okay, and he took the comics and started writing it. Soon after this, the bell rang, and we got ready to go to 6th hour. Vincent said he wasn't done with the comic yet, so he'd take it to the next hour to work on it. The next hour came and passed, and Vincent handed the comics back to me, saying that he still wasn't done yet, but he wanted me to read it. Now, just keep in mind that the comics we make are either supposed to be humorous or just plain corny. I flipped to the page he told me and started reading. The comic was about a nice old chap named Gutsby. What a pleasant name. Gutsby was walking down the sidewalk with a few people laying on the side of the sidewalk in puddles of blood, eyes closed. Gutsby came up to a bystander, and the bystander asked what the hell the people on the sidewalk were doing. Gutsby responded, "They're sleepy," and walked away merrily. The comic creeped me out more than it made me laugh, but I didn't want to be rude, so I responded in a chuckle and handed it back to him. Vincent then asked me why I was laughing. I said, "Your comic, it was funny." He told me that the punchline hadn't come yet, which is why the comic isn't done. That made me both relieved and worried. Relieved that something that disturbing wasn't supposed to be funny, but worried because I was wondering how we could turn a creepy comic into something laughable, or maybe not even laughable at all. The next day in 5th hour, Vincent handed the comic back to me, saying that it was almost done. I hesitantly read it. As you already know, on the side of the sidewalk dead people were lying there. The next part showed how the people died. It turned out Gutsby all along was the one killing people. Big surprise by a guy named Gutsby. Each person killing was unique, if that's what you would call it. One person got their eyes ripped out of their sockets, another with their heart being ripped out, and a person who had a long and painful death. The comic then went back to the sidewalk and showed Gutsby stopping at someone's door, knocking on it, and the comic ended. Vincent sure had a knack for ending comics on a cliffhanger. I asked him what was going to happen next, and he responded, "It's a surprise." "Seriously?" I said. "Is this comic supposed to be funny or scary?" He took the comics from me and walked away without a response. Me and Vincent like to pull pranks on each other, but this was getting out of hand. I know it's just a comic, but really. As school and my day went on, I couldn't stop thinking about the comic. This was totally unlike Vincent. Why couldn't he just tell me what was going to happen? It's not like I'm going to laugh or anything. Honestly, who could laugh at that? The next day came, and at the beginning of the day, he handed me back the comic. He told me it was done. I flipped to the page the comic left off last time. In the next panel, Gutsby opened the door that led to a dark building. He flipped the switch on and walked down the empty room. At the edge of the room, Gutsby's body was lying there, eye sockets torn out, heart ripped out, and on his chest, Gutsby stood there watching his carcass. There was a slight grin on his face, and that was when the comic ended. I asked where the punchline was. He said that Gutsby's soul watching his dead body was the punchline. That isn't funny, I said. That's just creepy. Are you kidding? Vincent asked. It's hilarious. I stared down at the comic and I too started laughing. Alright, you got me. Great prank, I said. Vincent said that this wasn't a prank and that he actually was serious about the comic being funny. I handed back the comic to him and asked if I could be the writer now and he be the artist. He said sure, but by the look in his face, he didn't seem to know why. Now I look back at that day, I should laugh. Well, I should laugh anyway. But today we're supposed to be getting an exchange student named Gutsby. And what do you know? He's in my 5th hour with me and Vincent.